Hello and welcome. Match day -1, palpable excitement.
Yes, Trisha, and everything to look forward to as far as the Indian team is concerned. Australia will have their tails up after that morale boosting win at the MCG. But then India, obviously, not as far as the dressing room is concerned, it's not a happy dressing room to say it. But then one would hope that they leaving aside controversies or whatever has happened, according to reports, they pull up their socks and put up the best foot forward and try and level the series, because that is what you want. Because if you level the series, then you retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy. But obviously, if Australia wins 3-1, they are definitely it's certain to make it to that World Test Championship final.
But Devashish, the problem is one part, of course, of the tool is that you have lost games, and you have lost moments when you should have, held on to the game. But that's one thing. Of course, there would be reviews in the dressing room. That being leaked is absolutely unfair.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is what the team management should be worried about, because things are definitely not looking rosy. It's not a happy dressing room. Let's pray. That's the let's put it this way. Means it's not definitely not a happy dressing room, with reports of rift, and obviously few of the senior cricketers and especially the seniors haven't looked in the best of forms, especially the likes of Rohit Sharma, the captain Virat Kohli. So it's high time that they start contributing for the team's cause, and that is all what you want from this team.
Absolutely. Gargi is here. I was just filling in for her while she was at the Shane Watson PC. She'll tell you about Shane Watson PC and you guys can continue the discussion. I'll go and shoot something else.
All right, so we're back. What have we talked about so far?
No, we talked about the Indian dressing room. Indian dressing room, because it's what happened to the frame.
Nothing. Go on, go
Yeah,
on.
so we started the broadcast by speaking about the Indian dressing room, because
All
according
right.
to reports, it's not a happy dressing room to say the least, and obviously there are reports of rifts in the dressing room with a few of the senior cricketers. So that is not what you want for a big series like this, and obviously it's India who has to do a lot of work to do, especially they are trailing the series. All they need to do is to pull up their socks and level the series so as to retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy. For Australia, obviously they have their tails up with the morale boosting win at the MCG. So and obviously all they want is to win this test match to seal a spot in the WTC final.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I was just at the Shane Watson press conference, and nothing much to talk about there. Obviously, everyone was asking about the ongoing matches, the rift between India and Pakistan. But one of the highlights of the press conference was, of course, he was asked about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma and whether their current form would affect their performance in the Champions Trophy. And Shane Watson quite clearly said that when he expects Rohit Sharma to let loose, and when we look back on the ODI World Cup as well, you had some really good performances from Rohit Sharma, and he said that he does not expect Rohit Sharma to not perform well. He expects him to perform very well, and he expects him to let loose. And when he lets loose, he plays the best.
Yeah, obviously that is what you want from the captain, to lead
Yes,
from the front, and which has
absolutely.
not been the case. Obviously,
Unfortunately.
Rohit Sharma's average in this series has been very disappointing. Means it's averaging somewhere around 6.20. So and obviously there will be talks when you don't perform, and he, ever since that pink ball test in Adelaide, he has definitely not looked good in the middle. Yes, he has put his best foot forward as far as the preparations are concerned. He definitely, you cannot question his efforts. But then when it comes, what matters most is that he has not reflected the preparations into the match. So, and that has been what is worrying the Indian team, and now there's reports of this rift and
Yeah.
all sorts of things. So it's definitely not looking good for the Indian team, Gargi.
Yes, I know. the mood is kind of somber everywhere around, especially today as well, within all of us as well. When you think about it, there's a lot of, I don't know if you call it tension or what, but there's a lot of apprehension, disappointment, and just somber all around. And that's not the kind of mood you want to go into a fifth test with the series is still
Yeah,
on.
absolutely, and absolutely. If you look back a little, if what for during that MCG test, it's India had that match. They
Exactly.
could have easily saved that match, but it all that happened with that Rishabh Pant shot, and then suddenly they lost that match in the third session, the final session. So had India had the series been leveled 1-1, and they arrived here in Sydney, things would have been different,
Much
because
different.
this is one particular wicket where you have the where spinners will have a lot to do. They will the wicket will favor the spinners. So that is what is baffling, because that few moments of harakiri did the team seize the team in such sort of situations, Kargi.
Yes. But let's get back to talking about the Australia practice session. You saw Manas Labuschagne. There was quite an interesting chat between Manas Labuschagne and Sam Constas. They were constantly talking while Manas Labuschagne was giving him throwdowns, was giving him bowling. What did you think of that? Because we were all watching quite
Yeah, that's
closely.
that's what
Yeah.
if Rohan can play those visuals of
Yes.
Sam Constas and Manus Labuschagne.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that is what you want from your senior cricketer. Means obviously just sharing his inputs of his and Sam Constance. Remember, he's just 19 years old, and a lot is expected. But he started his test day. He had a tremendous debut at the MCG, scoring that blitz fire 50. But in the second innings, he looked totally out
Yeah.
against Bumrah. But then obviously it's his home ground. 19-year-old. There were a lot of fans today. It has especially the kids. He's a very popular guy among the kids, and we could see at the side of the nets he was signing autographs. But there are the visuals of him having a chat with Manas Labuschagne, and the focus was to play against the spinners. Definitely there was some chat around with Manas about his footwork, because India definitely, one would hope that Indian team will be going in with two spinners in all likelihood, because the conditions here will definitely favor the spinners. So that is what he has been preparing, because the focus here today, if you look, only talking point as far as I am concerned has been that
Manus. Yes,
Sam
yes.
Constance preparations against the
Absolutely.
spinners.
And not just Manas Labuschagne. First of all, talking about that incident, uh, but the fact that Manas Labuschagne was so hands-on with Sam Constas, it was not as if he's just coming and telling him. He was throwing him. He was giving him a lot of drills as well. Very basic drills. He was getting it done with Sam Constas. And there was, a member in the audience as well. Sam Constas was constantly turning around and asking if his bat was coming from the right place, if he's hitting the right shots. And that person was constantly, guiding him, ki, yes, this is the ball that's coming in, or this is the ball that's going out, and you need to bat this way.
Yeah,
So,
we also saw Australian
yeah,
batting coach Michael
Michael.
Di Venuto spending a lot of time. And in fact, Sam Constance was the only batter among the Australian team who batted for a long time. I mean, we saw Steve Smith, the likes of Steve Smith, Usman Khawaja, Travis Head, Manas Labuschagne himself. They had roughly around 20-25 minutes knock in the nets, and they walked out. But then Sam Constance, he batted at one nets. He was seen practicing with Manas Labuschagne, especially those uppish drive, and then he walked to the other nets where he took throwdowns from Michael De Venuto. So definitely Sam Constance will have it's clearly the mindset, and he was also taking on the spinners. There were three spinners, net bowlers in the Australian nets today. It was an optional one today, but there were three spinners in the Australian
Yes.
nets bowling to Sam Constance. So clearly the focus was to play the spinners, because Sydney has always been a ground where it favors the spinners, Kargi.
Yes, and talking about more batters, as you rightly said that the focus was all about spinners, and Steve Smith actually looked very good if you
Yes,
think about
and
it. The shots that he was hitting.
there was a moment of
Yeah,
concern as well, where he got hit, but then he looked okay in a few moments. But then, what an occasion will it be for Steve Smith? Means
absolutely.
he has been a great servant for Australian cricket. Means he's in the nearing a milestone of 10,000 runs. Is just 38 runs away from scoring the 10,000 runs and being the fourth Australian cricketer after Alan Border, Steve Waugh, and David, and who else? And David Warner.
I'm not sure about that.
I'll just find out. Maybe I'm not David Warner. I think who was the other cricketer. You just carry on.
Yeah, yeah. So we were talking about, and that's that. See, there it is. There's the conversation between Sam Constas and Manas Labuschagne happening. Manas Labuschagne, he stepped in first. I think he was the first person. No, Usman Khwaja was the first person to come in, but Manas Labuschagne also quickly came in, and he was bowling to Steve Smith as well. He was giving a lot of throwdowns to Steve Smith as well. Jinash Mehta, when is India training today? It is
India is training from 2 p.m. in a few moments from now, but 1:10 local time.
yes.
But interesting, Gargi, is that who will come for the pre-match press conference,
because we have no information about
in the media group shared by BCCI, it is mentioned that it will only be updated when the team arrives.
Oh.
So I'm just going to show you what was communicated in the BCCI media group.
Sure.
So India to train from 2 p.m., but the team will reach around 1 p.m. PC around 1:10 to will update once we have reached. So it's not clear whether a Rohit Sharma or a Gautam Gambhir guy. And remember, Gautam, the head coach, has not attended a single press conference in the Australian tour so far. So it will be interesting as to who attends the press conference for India.
Do you think it's time for Gautam Gambhir to step in into the press conference because of everything that's going on, all the controversy?
100%, Gargi. If you ask me, if you being the head coach, you should come forward and be answerable. Yes, I'm not. And Gautam Gambhir has never backed from any. Whenever there's a down, he has never shied off. He has always taken on, and he has always batted. Even during his cricket career, he has always batted with the front with straight bat. And so we would expect the Indian head coach to come forward and see and clear the doubts and clear this air about that speculation, the controversies that is going around, that media reports. It will be all clear once if he comes for the press conference and takes the questions of the media, because everyone in the Indian media contingent that is here in Australia will be looking forward to what the head coach has to say, because not a single press conference he has attended so far in this series.
Exactly. And Devashish, how much do you think this affects the Indian team going into this match? Because the conversations that we're hearing, the speculations that we're hearing are very, very grave at this point. And it doesn't seem to reflect a good mood in the dressing room.
Absolutely, and just one thing before I take your question. So 38 runs short of 10,000 runs, Steve Smith, and three Australian cricketers who have already scored 10,000 runs at Alan Border, Steve Waugh and Ricky Ponting. So these are the three cricketers who have scored 10,000. So what an occasion will it be for Steve Smith playing in his home ground, and this ground has a lot of tradition and history, and it will be a fitting thing. For Steve Smith if he goes on to reach the milestone. But talking about Gautam Gambhir, yes, definitely, Gargi. If you ask me, means and there has been controversies in Indian cricket. When controversy has not happened in Indian, it's not that the first time that it is happening. And when you lose a series, there will be talks. There will be talks. There will be reports. There will be obviously there will be reviews. But that will only happen once the team goes back. And definitely the coach will definitely share his version. But then it's only how do I put it? It's only fair to have the coach coming forward and taking on the questions from the media, because that will clear the air about what is going around. Means obviously, see, until and unless if you come and take the questions from the media, there will be questions. Means as to ho kya raha hai, chal kya raha hai dressing room mein. So I think the better sense prevails. We would love to see Gautam Gambhir, the head coach, coming and attending the press conference and clearing the doubts, whatever it is. But then, and obviously, senior cricketers like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, it's high time. It's high time that you keep scoring, because it is a very, very important match coming up. Because if India goes on to draw this test match or win this test match and draw the series, they will retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy.
And at this point, I think is that much more important that Gautam Gambhir only comes in. I think Rohit Sharma can also be one option because he's the captain. He needs to
But
take that
he has
leader.
already attended the
Yes,
press conference
exactly.
after the
After the
Melbourne
loss,
Test match, so he has
exactly.
definitely. But it's
He's done his job. But at this
and
point,
according
after
to the reports that has been going around, it's the head coach. It's the head coach who needs to take on the questions, and whatever I know little about Gautam Gambhir, Gauti bhai, he is one person who has been very honest, even as a player, as a head coach. But then definitely he needs to take on the questions as to clear the doubts as to what is going around, and also to clear the controversies that's making the headlines back home in India.
yeah, and I think this is high time for Gautam Gambhir to come in. Till now, I think it was much different. The situation was much different. Yes, you had lost the fourth Test match, but there was no controversy. So there were players who could come in and handle the press
And Gargi,
conferences.
if we can just turn around just to show our viewers. So this is the nets of the Sydney Cricket Ground, and in moments from now, the Indian cricketers will be arriving and they will be training here. So you could actually see.
So these are the nets.
These are the nets. Yeah, Gargi, if you can show them, if you
Yes.
can show our viewers,
Here are the nets.
I will
So
just do a running commentary. So there are so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 nets. There are 8 nets, practice nets. So a lot of grass, Kargi. Actually, if you look at the
yes,
practice, there are a
actually.
lot of grass, but that won't be the case for the 22 years that is there for the match. So I think the wicket here will definitely favor the spinners. But Gargi, what's your take on Bew Webster making his debut? Because another guy from the Australian team who's all set to make his debut is from Tasmania. He has
Yes.
scored lots of runs in domestic cricket, has an average of 50.
Okay, there we go. A little bit of a technical issue there, but it's all right. We were talking about what were we talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about Bew Webster
Oh,
making
right.
his debut instead of Mitch Marsh. Obviously, Mitch Marsh hasn't been in the best of form, and so that's the reason Bew Webster has been called in. And he's all set to this. And he has done really well in domestic cricket. Plays for Tasmania, and he has an average of 50. And so it's a tall guy. So and the good thing is that I was having a chat with Shubha, and he says that he could bowl medium pace as well. He could bowl spin. So it will be interesting as to what his role will be actually in the match. But definitely, Mitchell Marsh has definitely looked a wee bit off color in this series. But he has a great player. He is the reigning Allen Border medal winner. So obviously, but Australia has gone in for only one chance. So Bew Webster is all set to make his debut instead of Mitch Marsh. But Gargi, Mitchell Starc keeps his place. One would have hoped that he would be rested, but given that he had a side strain in that Test match in Melbourne, so it could clearly see you could clearly say that Australia is eyeing a win in this Test match as well, so as to guarantee a berth in the WTC final.
100%. 100%. This is something we talked about yesterday as well in one of the shows. Is that Mitchell Starc? Yes, he's carrying that niggle yes, he's carrying that back cramp, because we saw that on day 4 and 5 he was visibly in pain. You could see after every ball he was grimacing. He had
But
a little
despite
bit
that,
of,
he did
despite
bowl.
that
Despite, yes, yes,
he pushed
absolutely.
completely, and we were, you
And
know,
and that crucial wicket of Virat Kohli.
oh, very, very, it turned the match around, right?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
but yes, but when we talk about it, Mitchell Stark, I think we all were pretty much, it was pretty much known that he would still push even if he had a niggle, because Australia will do everything. Australia will go all out to win this one.
And obviously we also need to talk about one particular individual. We already talked about a Steve Smith nearing the milestone of 10,000
Oh
runs, but
yes.
another guy who the Australians, another local guy, Nathan Lyon, means
Mm.
obviously plays for New South Wales, and what a player he has been for Australia.
He's going to
It's
play
his.
quite a role
Yes, he has a
here.
big role. He has a big
Yes.
role to play at the Sydney Cricket Ground. So Nathan Lyon, and if you look at that Australian lineup, Gargi, there are as many as 5 players who are local players. You talk about Nathan Lyon, you talk about Mitchell Stark, you talk about Pat Cummins, the captain, you talk about Steve Smith. So as many as 5 players in this Australian lineup are from New South, are from Sydney. So they will have a fair idea about the conditions, about the wicket. So, so it will be very, very challenging for India to bounce back. But then see, all that it matters for India is to be confident and to have that self belief. Yes, you might have lost that Test match at Melbourne Cricket Ground, but then nothing is lost. Yes, it was on the same ground, Gargi, when India actually, in fact, that Test match was drawn. 2018, but it was here when Virat Kohli led Indian team actually lifted the Border Gavaskar Trophy, and ever since
Yes.
then it has been a one way race. Means India has won. Australia could never defeat India after that series, be it at home or be it country. So everything to look forward, and here's a massive Indian diaspora. So one would expect that there will be a lot of Indian fans cheering, and tomorrow there will be tomorrow will be the first day of pink test. So a lot many fans, you will see as all the fans in their pink. So let's hope that India also bounce take this opportunity to put up a good show.
But Devashish, what I want to ask about is final 5-10 minutes on the show. You've seen the pitch at this moment. We're seeing the weather. Although only the last day has a bit of a rain prediction, it is still pretty overcast here. We're looking at the pitch, looking at the conditions. What do you reckon? Bowl first, bat first.
No, I would say it's a bad first wicket. It's a bad first wicket any day. Any day means, and that sends a positive signal to the
Yes.
opposition camp. You score up a huge, you score a big total that would automatically put the pressure on the team bowling first. So I think it's definitely going to be a bat first wicket, Gargi. You win the
Mm.
toss and elect to bat first, because the conditions here will definitely help the spinners and India. It will be interesting as to Shubman Gill gets a chance in or not, because I think it was a very disappointing thing for to have happened for Rupi. Yes, despite the fact that he has not looked scored runs in this series, but that on that count, even the likes of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma has also not scored. So
Yeah.
clearly he was he will feel let down, and
100%.
because of the fact that he was dropped.
Yeah.
Although the team management did made it clear that he was not dropped, but
But it's
definitely,
out of the
yes,
11, so
absolutely.
it's draw.
Someone explain to
Rajeshwar, I don't know.
Gautam Gambhir has to come in PC.
It
Absolutely,
has to.
absolutely. Who
Has
is
to
he?
be Gautam Gambhir.
One,
Vansh.
once, yes, once, absolutely. That is what I have been telling Gargi in a few minutes back. That
Yeah, we've been saying this.
it is Gautam Gambhir as a head coach needs to come and attend the press conference, take questions from the Indian media, and clear the doubts and clear the controversies that has been going around. Obviously, yes, and all that could have been done. But the question is, when you have the conversations in the dressing room being leaked, that does not put up a very good picture as far as the dressing room is concerned, because that is something that dressing room is
Private.
always considered to be a sacred
Sacred.
place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, so any dressing room talk or team talk should not have come out in the media, but unfortunately that has happened. It's up to the coach now to come forward and take on the questions that have been fielded to him.
Yes, absolutely. So, a final question before we. Does it start now? Does the PC start now? No,
PC is
it's
around
still time.
1:15, so
So there's
still,
still some
and
time
the
to go.
Indian team has also not turned up yet.
Not
So
arrived. Yes,
definitely,
exactly.
once they turn up, then it will be interesting as to who attends the press conference today.
Yes, but to anyone who's joining late or has joined only now, we'll show you the nets once again.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can just walk around, we will show the visuals. We can show.
I'll just
Just
get the mic. Wait.
just give it to
Yeah.
me. You can we can show you the visuals. Actually, let's get down from here.
Yes, that's very dangerous.
Yeah, come.
Yeah, let's go.
So there you see, there's a pink cart. I think it's an ice cream cart, but that's decked in pink. So everything about this test match is pink because we all know it's a test match. It's a pink test result, and it's obviously. So and as we walk along this path, this is the walk of fame. So you could actually see all the legends in Australian cricketer. There you can see Fred Spofford, the statue of Fred Spofford. You can actually see. I would just walk. You can actually see the statue of Steve Waugh as well. So and this is the place that we are walking currently is the Walk of Fame. Yes, and these are all see this quite an old one, right?
Yeah, very, very old, and it's
Yes, Arthur Morris, once again a legend.
MBE. Yeah.
Once again a legend. There's you see Betty Cuthbert. There you can see the far away is the statue of Steve Waugh. There's Sir Don Bradman where he scored 452 runs, not out for New South Wales at the SCG in 1930. In fact, Sir Don Bradman, he we will go to Bowral Gargi and obviously have a look around where Sir Don Bradman was born. It was 52 Shepherd Street. He also resided in 20 Glebe Street. So there's a lot of history and tradition. If you could look around, this is the ladies pavilion. It is perhaps the only venue in Australia, in not only in Australia, even in only venue in world cricket where you have a pavilion dedicated solely to the ladies. So that is a lot of history. That's the members pavilion here, and just beneath the members pavilion is the dressing room of both the teams. There you could see the Australian dressing room, and there's a plaque, Gargi,
Yeah.
a Phil Hughes plaque.
Oh,
You
okay.
remember Phil
Yes, of
Hughes?
course, of course.
And that's Richie Benaud's statue there. So and we could also Mama and Gargi wear pink tomorrow.
Of
100%
course, of
jacks.
course.
But unfortunately, I haven't got a pink dress. But definitely, we will definitely get one, and that's just.
They're coming in.
So
The
the
Indian
Indian
team
team is
is
here. We
coming
will
in.
just actually show you. So Virat Kohli is here. So you could actually see Virat Kohli is here. There you could see Virat Kohli. That's Ravindra Jadeja. There's Gautam Gambhir. See all the players. There's Yashasvi Jaiswal. There's Shubman Gill. And there's the Indian captain coming. It's Prasid Krishna, Washington Sundar, KL Rahul. We could actually show you the mood. So there you go. So you
Bumrah
could
getting
actually
the loudest
you could
cheers.
actually see. So lot. I think it's the full team that has come, Gargi.
Yes, full team,
Yes,
entire team.
I think the entire
So,
team. So let's face the camera.
yeah, the press conference will be quite interesting,
Yes, it
Devashish,
will
at this
be
point.
very interesting. It will be a very interesting press conference, Gargi, and it will be interesting who comes. Who comes?
Exactly. I
Uh,
think that's the biggest question at this point as to who will come to the press conference, because it is an important turning point in Indian cricket history right now. I think, like Jasprit Bumrah had mentioned, it is a transitional phase for Indian cricket, as well as all the controversies surrounding the dressing
yes,
room, the
absolutely.
mood in the
Yes,
dressing
yeah.
room. So it's going to be important to see how Indian
Let's
cricket addresses
yes,
this,
let's
because yeah,
this side. This is much better.
it's going
Yeah.
to be interesting to see how Indian cricket addresses this, because it will be important to see how they handle this controversy.
Yeah, absolutely. See, there's a saying that if they let your bat or the ball do the talking, and
Yes.
so all that matters is to keep away from the controversy and put up your best foot forward and win the test match. You win the test match here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. All the talks about controversies or the talks being leaked out in the media, that will be put to rest. So that's a big challenge for the Indian team.
Yes.
How they gear up, how they prepare, obviously, and the fact that the most of the players are here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, actually it gives a positive vibe.
Yeah,
Means we
exactly.
obviously you could see that in and remember Indian team had a break for last 2 days, so it's only fair that the entire team has come for the training and obviously
I mean, match starts tomorrow, so this is the
yeah,
only opportunity
only opportunity. Yes.
for them to practice. So it makes sense that the entire team is here. It will be interesting to see first who comes in for the press conference, and second
Yeah,
to see
and
what changes
if
are
you, if
being.
you ask
Yeah.
me, one more thing that will be very interesting for me is to see whether Shubman Gill gets a nod
Oh,
in the playing
exactly.
11.
That's what I'm saying. That
Exactly.
the second most interesting thing will be to
Acha,
see
there's a
the
question.
combination.
Monster Pat Cummins. I
PC
don't
ka
know.
timing
PC
bolo
ka
re.
timing bolo. It's
150
115 around
or
115
local.
is 115 is local time. So what's the time now here? It's 1 p.m.
Yes.
So in another 15 minutes we will get to know as to who comes for the India press
Conference.
conference.
Yes. Yes.
So
Well, I think we can wrap up with
yeah,
that, because
absolutely.
we'll
Because
have
we
to
will
also.
post another video once the once the Indian press conference is over. So, Gargi, take over. Until
Yes.
then,
Well, thank you so much for joining, everyone. You've just seen the Indian cricket team walking in. We'll be bringing you more, 15 more minutes, and India. We'll see who's at the press conference from the Indian team.
yes,
Hopefully, we're all hoping it's going to be Gautam Gambhir, because this is a serious press conference. Thank you
absolutely.
so much for everyone who's watching. Thank you, Debashish, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.